This is the construct. It's our loading program. We can load anything from clothing to equipment, weapons, training simulations, anything we need.
Morpheus was a wise man. That is, until the subsequent sequels, at least. Hi, I'm Dynamic Male. Welcome to my channel. This is Dynamic Breakdown, where we break down illustrations to learn what makes a successful piece of art and how to apply those lessons to our own work. So ditch the cell, get your favorite Kool-Aid, your favorite pen or pencil, yeah, the one that you believe gives you magic drawing powers, and let's get to work. I'm a professional illustrator, writer, and designer. Once I reach my first milestone of 1,000 subs, I'll do my first live. So subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, and press the notification bell if you like the video. This is Intro to Drawing 101 according to me. Disclaimer, any ideas or techniques I disseminate on this channel is how I approach illustrating. Illustration is such a subjective art form and used in a wide variety of areas within visual media. What I teach here may not be how you or another artist approaches his or her work. My hope is to spread information that will serve to help improve technique and make you a better creator. But if you think what I'm saying is useless, no worries, ignore me or give me your rebuttal in the comment section below. I'm still learning as well. Try to be courteous. Today's topic, gesture drawing. When you look at a piece of paper, I want you to refer back to the scene in the Matrix you just saw. The scene invokes a hallowed melancholy, devoid of all creative aspirations, only to reveal itself as one of infinite possibilities. Now, I want you to apply that thinking to your chosen workspace, whether it's canvas, paper, or the computer monitor. I need you to stop thinking in two dimensions, but instead refer to your workspace as the construct, a window into the infinite three-dimensional space. The void, if one is not aware, can cause a stifling mental block. This is why we alter our perception. The white space is an intimidating hurdle to overcome. You may even feel a nauseating dizziness, causing you to spew chunks. Wait, choke it back. The Nebuchadnezzar has enough corrosive issues. Plus, yuck. That's just yuck. Well, I'm here to say this shouldn't happen. The vast white space should never shackle your mind's creative perception or discourage experimentation. It should inspire infinite possibilities. This is not a limiting two-dimensional plane. The construct's environment grants you godlike abilities to bring forth ideas, stories, characters, even the universe, with just the tip of your pen or pencil. Oh, what? You're still a bit skeptical? It's just a plane? Well, look again. What? Did you think a whole bunch of guns would appear? Yeah, you totally thought a whole bunch of guns would appear. On a more serious note, the white void that sits in front of us does work as described by Morpheus. It can provide us with all we need. We just have to think of whatever we want and it will appear. But there's a bit of divergence when it comes to our construct and the one described in the Matrix movie. We don't get the convenience of the operator who pushes a button at the behest of Soul Brother Morpheus, providing a plethora of anime juice. No, that's just movie magic. Our construct is a bit more analog. What we lack in tech is compensated by our imaginations. And that's just as good. For a draftsman to reap the abundance of the construct, he must do as Neo did. Before he could master the matrix, he had to train. The construct is yours to wield like a god. To quote Morpheus, you won't have to dodge bad criticism, you won't get them. I'm starting with the basics of drawing before I get into the meat and bones of my channel. Think of it as a refresher course for those who are novice. I didn't want to do tutorials because,
This means you're going to shed.
but there may be those of you that are new to drawing, and I hope to avoid some of the standard questions about drawing. I'll make a specific playlist for Drawing 101. All the videos will be there. These lessons are my approach. I hope I can make it interesting. There are already so many good tutorial channels, hence my reluctance to do one. But I feel I have something to say in this regard, and I hope to bring something fresh to the table. Often neglected by teachers, at least until you're in college. If you were anything like me, that is. That's gesture drawing, what I believe is the most crucial aspect of draftsmanship. It is the DNA of a well thought out piece, but most people want to discard it, get right to creation. But I say that's a major mistake. That often invites stiffness and distortion and a whole heap of frustration. The secret of drawing is to understand that the construct travels far into the distance on the z-axis. To further elucidate my point, let's use an arrow to explain. An arrow can be used to show direction, size, and distance. This is a great exercise to warm up. Anyone can draw an arrow. So let's try it out before gesture drawing. First, you want to acclimate your mind to the idea you are in a three-dimensional space as opposed to a two-dimensional plane. The exercise will introduce you to overlap and size comparison, both of which are super important to drawing and understanding space. So I start by lightly sketching an arrow in the center of the page. I duplicate the arrow as many times as it would take to fill my space. In my mind, it is no longer a line, it's more like a flexible piece of see-through plastic. I draw the arrow forward, backwards, up, down, far off into the distance, and close up, enlarging and shrinking the arrow as needed, giving the illusion of distance. You need a keen understanding of perspective to draw much more complicated shapes, which I will talk about more in future videos. But for now, an arrow is a great way to understand space and how to control it. The arrow should be drawn loosely with light pressure. This is the genesis of gesture drawing, loose sketching. Extremely important, draw with your whole arm, not just your wrist. Use the natural arc of your shoulder while sketching. Try to fill the space, but be strategic when placing your arrows in the construct. Play around with twisting and bending and curves as well. Each time you do this exercise, you will become more familiar with the X, Y, Z axis. Control the construct. After you've gotten familiar with arrows, now it's time to start drawing something a bit more complicated, the human body. The body is a good subject to start with because it's familiar to us. We understand ourselves implicitly. Where the head should be, the fact we have appendages and how they work. It's a good starting point when learning to observe. We are not going to talk about basic shapes in this tutorial because this tutorial is to encourage draftsmanship, and I don't want to bog you down with unnecessary technical jargon. My approach to gesture drawing will allow even a novice to draw the figure with confidence. No need to worry about realism or detail this time around. It's more about mood and expression and understanding movement, how to stage a pose and how to breathe life into that drawing. We want to be mindful of this word life because this is why we remember the David or the Mona Lisa's smile or the marble at the Sistine Chapel. You want to maintain life through every step of the creative process. Often this is not so in some of today's work. We are so concerned with how real something looks that we don't notice how dead it is. You want life always at the forefront of your creative process. When layering it with detail, something is lost in translation. That is, unless you're a master draftsman. You want to carry that energy over, and gesture drawing can help with this. This is why animators study gesture more than any other style of drawing, but it can be pertinent to a single frame illustration as well. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get to gesture drawing. I like to start with an infinity symbol these days. You can use a stick figure, but I feel this hinders your understanding of volume and space and weight. The infinity symbol will still allow you to draw without structure, but give the illusion of it and help with spatial awareness. And trust me, after you complete a few of these figures, you'll start feeling like you're Picasso. So I like to do about 5 pages of figures when gesture drawing to warm up. They're supposed to be quick poses, no more than a few seconds to a minute on each. Use reference, stay loose, and study the form so that you have an understanding of what you're doing. Find your line of action and start sketching. The line of action is the direction of flow of the figure. I discuss this more in depth on my Patreon. As you get better, you can do more poses straight from your imagination, but it's less of a strain in the brain and helps to build your visual library. The more you observe, the better drafting you will be. Use a perpendicular line to judge your space and decide where your horizon line will be. Understand how much space you have to draw and look past the clothing and draw what you think is underneath. At least a basic understanding of it. Not to naughty, but mind you, get your mind out of the gutter with drawing over here. Just as with the arrow, be mindful of overlapping and stay loose. Use the infinity symbol whenever it makes sense. Try to imitate the pose. Don't worry about detail. That comes later. And that's about it for today's lesson. Practice gesture drawing as much as you can. It will only serve to increase your abilities. Thank you for watching, and remember to always be dynamic in all you do. If you found this video helpful, let me know in the comment below. Check out my Patreon where I go into depth with these lessons and talk about all things art. Thank you for watching. Remember, hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, and I'll see you again.